What's up? It's MikeSpike, and I'm looking for the scariest thing of all time. Now, I've looked through all of history, with Dracula, Sasquatch, and my crippling debt all making the list. But not one of these things truly scared me. So I hopped on the Nintendo Switch eShop, something anyone looking for a scare would do. And what I saw sent shivers down my spine, made me shake with anticipation, and makes me terrified just thinking about it again. It starts with an R, it ends with a D, and the middle of it sounds like what you get after being bit by a feral animal. That's right. Today, we're talking about the Rabbids. And Mario too. A question had haunted the entire human race for some years now, and that question would be, how the do you sell a game with this terrifying creature in it? Well, throw Mario in with it, of course. Mario+Rabbids Kingdom Battle, one of the weirdest combinations of 4 words and a symbol in the English language, came out on the Nintendo Switch on August 29th, 2017, to a resounding Reviews when the game released were actually super positive, but just nobody talked about this game. Apparently people cared more about playing the new Zelda game than they did about this game featuring the Rabbids. That's so bizarre, why would anyone do that? This game's premise looked interesting to me, however, because the second it was revealed, with the main man Miyamoto himself rocking a Kmart Mega Man weapon. You have that for any game, and you got my interest piqued. I then proceeded to do what any person does that is interested in a game, and waited to get it 2 years later for 15 bucks. I have no shame! Well, this sure looks like a Mario game. I'm expecting the Rabbids won't change it up that much. I'm expecting a fun 2D platformer, maybe with some interest. This is a tactical RPG where you move characters behind cover so you can shoot the Rabbids back from where they came. Yeah, I didn't expect much else. So yeah, this is a game featuring Mario and the Rabbids that is closer in genre to a T-rated game where you fight aliens than any of its source material. Seems legit. Yep, it's nothing like your typical Mario game. I just lied 3 words ago. Because just like most Mario games, the story is quite simple. A person in the real world made a device that could combine 2 things into one, so they can solve the energy crisis? Jesus, this is some heavy stuff. They then decide to leave this literally world-altering device behind for a little bit, so they can use the bathroom or something. Which then leads to the Rabbids popping in out of nowhere with their time-traveling washing machine, and they start messing up the place. They overheat the super goggles though. Poor guy earlier didn't even have enough time to throw a fan into his, I must repeat, literally world-altering device. How do you create a literally reality-shifting device and just forget to put a cooling system in it? That's like Einstein forgetting the M! Anyways, the Rabbids abuse it, they get sucked into a portal into the Mario world, chaos ensues, all that fun jazz. The story gets done when it needs to get done, but now it's time for the most interesting part to me. The gameplay. You show me Mario with a gun, and I want to get to shooting. Luckily for us, this game gets started pretty quickly, and I would have to say overall my least favorite thing about the RPG genre of games is the tutorials that they have. Some tutorials are just straight bonkers, and don't even get me started on Mario and Luigi Dream Team, where they literally have tutorials throughout the entire game. So I gotta give this game massive props for keeping the tutorials very short and sweet, while also giving you breathing room to figure out some things for yourself. My least favorite thing, not only in RPGs, but in any video game, are when you have an option in the menu that you can't use yet because you haven't hit a specific part of the tutorial. As a guy who self-taught himself everything from editing videos to streaming over at twitch.tv/MikeSpike345, when tutorials do this, it can ruin an entire game for me. But again, massive props to Mario+Rabbids Kingdom Battles tutorial, as it let me team jump and dash into enemies, 2 essential things you need to know when in combat, when I figured it out on my own, instead of locking me out of these options until the tutorial blatantly explained it right to my face. After that tutorial that doesn't overstay its welcome, you get thrown straight into the combat, which is where essentially most of the meat of this game is. And this meat we're talking about is a giant, juicy steak, because my god, this is so fluid. Everything seems so seamless, from the aforementioned team jump and slide mechanics, to the new moves like the stomp jump you learn later on, through an intuitive skill tree. It just fits together so nicely. Another thing that is seamless is this segue to this episode's sponsor. I'm just kidding. We don't have that. Hey, Raid Shadow Legends, I'll take you at this point. The difficulty curve is perfect as well, starting off with very simple encounters where you just have to kill all the enemies, to intense sections where you have to maneuver around these large smashers, to a hard-hitting mini-boss, and it all ramps up very naturally from the outset. The mission variety ain't bad as well, from standard kill all enemy missions to surviving through waves of enemies to making it to a specific area. There is variety here. I just wish there was a bit more. The get to a specific area missions actually have to be my favorite. Trying to avoid all the enemies and placing your teammates in a way where you can execute a string of team jumps is super satisfying. Altogether though, it fits together wonderfully. It's like a giant puzzle, and this game isn't missing any pieces. That one Hot Wheels puzzle piece I lost still traumatizes me to this day. Another thing that is just as seamless is the transition from exploring to fighting. This game essentially has two modes, with the first one being the exploration aspect. Here, you solve simple puzzles, find these blue cannons that take you to special rooms, and hunt down chests with new items and weapons in them. While this part of the game isn't bad, not by any means, you can obviously tell that this wasn't the major focus of the game. To give credit where credit is due though, this game does a great job rewarding what minimal exploration there is, with rewards like coins and smaller chests containing artwork and more behind almost every corner. The second mode is the combat, and as touched on earlier, this is a super fleshed out battle system. On your turn, you move Mario and his rabbit buddies strategically behind cover, and on your way to cover, you can dash into an enemy that's in your way, and you also have the option to get a boost from one of your mates to reposition yourself or to reach higher ground. You shoot your shot at the enemy Rabbids, they do the same, and move on. It sounds simple, but again, the combos you can pull off, especially with each character's unique active move that can be triggered outside of the normal flow of combat, brings so much variety and strategy to each battle, and it never got dull or stale for me. I think one of the things I noticed the most about this game, that I don't notice a lot with other games, is all the small things it gets right. Like how the battlefields you fight on are a part of the already existing environment, how you can fast forward enemy turns so you can keep the game fast paced, how you pick up coins on the battlefield with the same cursor you use to move, how Mario dodges underneath this shot to ensure Luigi will never outlive him. All this little stuff really adds up to make this one of the more unique games on the Switch. Speaking of environments, they are fantastic. I think they managed to find the perfect blend of both the Rabbid world, aka Hell, and the Mario universe within these environments, including the Rabbids messing up everything and making this noise. Not only did they nail the environments, they also owned it with the art style here. This may be due to the sheer blandness of stuff like the new Super Mario Bros. Art style, but the art style in Mario+Rabbids Kingdom Battle is too good, with the perfect blend of colors, cartoony visuals, and not too over-the-top action. Adding to that uniqueness is the soundtrack, which was composed by Grant Kirkhope of all people, the composer for the legendary soundtrack behind the Banjo-Kazooie games, and he does a phenomenal job. The best way to describe this music is high quality but wacky and zany beats, which I think perfectly goes with this high quality but wacky and zany game. Oh, I got just the thing for this. I knew I'd use this one day. One thing I was worried about initially going into this game was the writing, but honestly, it's just pretty solid. There's nothing that'll make you laugh as hard as you laugh at my videos. Hopefully. But there's also nothing that'll make you cringe out of your skin like how my videos don't make you do. Hopefully. And that's everything I have to say about Mario+Rabbids Kingdom Battle. A strange but really interesting unhidden gem for the Nintendo Switch. I think it's really the best descriptor that I have, because everyone knows about this game in the back of their head, but again, just no one ever talks about it. But I saved the one question that's probably burning on all 10 of your fingers as you type the YouTube comment for the end of this video. That question being, Mike Spike, why would you cover Mario+Rabbids Kingdom Battle for a Halloween special? Have you seen these things?